Come on, Adam. This crap again.
Come on, Dunkles, just get on with it already.
Please stand clear of the doors.
Pour me another one. Make it a strong one. We're gonna have some fun tonight.
Guys, well, welcome back to the home tiki bars and our lovely abode. Hopefully you can't see that crap load of mess that I got scattered around this office, and where I've just thrown everything, all the electronics just got shoved back in the room when the suitcase got unpacked.
But we got Mr. Penguin in the background, so that's good.
Mr. Penguin and the flag are flying. We've been getting a lot of chitter chatter on the interwebs, on Twitter and on our Instagram page about Mr. Penguin and the cast members and some of the photos. I'm going to keep going through photos and posting photos. We'll keep doing that as I hash through it. I'm going to try to do a montage video of some of the highlights of the trip and put that together, but we'll see how it works out. Tonight we're going to do our wrap-up show and kind of to put the bow on DDC 7. So after tonight, we will begin shutting down some of the channels and migrating some things over and getting things ready to roll for DDC 8 coming your way in 2020. Wow. It just seems like the other day, Terry, we were plotting and planning 7, sitting there with the warm breeze blowing in from the stanky savannah and smelling the giraffes.
Watching zebras donkey kick each other.
I mean, it's been interesting. So tonight, guys, we're going to try to do a wrap up and talk a little bit about our highlights and some of the best things that we enjoyed. We will pull some things from the chats. You guys throw out your things. We'll bring them up. Again, a couple of little quick bits. If you've got video and stuff, go ahead and load those videos, load those pictures, load up that stuff in the G drive so I can go through it. Lots of folks have been able to comb through it and get their stuff. So hopefully everybody will be able to get what they want out and find things that were of interest. I'm going to try to put together some video. I'm using some of that because we make our groups private. So to kind of, I guess, lack of a better word, sort out the riffraff and keep some things to a minimum, and so that we can discuss things. The things that we do good, we're going to try to keep a public face out there. And some of you have already found where we stood up the public DisDads fan page. That way we have an outside connection to the world, and we have an outside connection to people if they need to get a hold of us or want to drop something. So I'm going to be putting up some video there, putting up some photos. I'm going to be reaching out to some of you guys because we're going to need some help. We want to be careful what we do there because we want that to be a reflection of the group and what the group stands for as we move forward. Because what we found is as we try to tell our story and tried to share what it was we were about, we found that we were having a difficult time doing that this time. We've never had people go, what is this DisDads thing? You know, we've always had our friends and our family that went, you guys are nuts. And
We are.
And yeah, we are. But we've always had that we've had to explain to our significant others and things like that. But this year, we kind of became very public. We became very in the eye, so to speak. And I think that's a good thing. This year, we were able to raise close to $5,000 in a couple of months with not a lot of effort. Bear in mind, we didn't really, you know, some guys really got out and hustled, but for the most part, we didn't really put a lot of effort into our fundraising efforts this year. We kind of played with it, in my opinion. Y'all can agree or disagree with me on that. Some of you guys really got out and busted a hump. Dave, bravo, buddy. Murray, bravo for getting your folks out there. And so we're going to try to put an effort on that for the year and see what we can do. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about towards the end of tonight is where we want to go with this. But for the first few minutes or so, let's reminisce. So Terry, let's reminisce about how we got this thing started. How did the conception? Ooh, that sounds bad. I don't even want to say it. How was DDC 7 brought about? Where did we start from there? We started almost this. It was around this time last year.
It was the end of DDC 6. 6 leads to 7. Adam had been talking for a while about the house idea, and last year certainly convinced me on it, and we got enough other guys interested, and I think the two big changes for the convention this year were the house having so many guys together, and the Give Kids the World. I think both events radically changed the convention for the better.
Yeah, I agree. If you think about what the convention's been up until this actual year, and it's true, and it still will remain true probably for many, many years to come, is, you know, we're a bunch of guys who just like Disney and we love to hang out and get to know each other. We chat on the webs. But the overall events were about going to dinners and riding rides and drinking beer or drinking rum or whatever, and just being true American Canadian dads. This year kind of changed the definition a little bit because it seemed like we had a purpose. The purpose was give kids the world, and really to give back to the parks and stuff, and entertain people while we were there. We were having a great time doing that. We didn't know that's what it was going to turn into, but we were having a great time doing that. I think the whole aspect, two things key to our times in the park. One, singing happy birthday to the kids and people who had birthday buttons on. Two, the high fives in line that people were just catching on to and thought was kind of weird at first, but we're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then really, I guess the third one was the sing-alongs. You know, anytime we were singing in the Kimonos karaoke, or we were singing in the Frozen sing-along, or we were in Carousel of Progress, or any ride that had any type of song we could sing to, just participating in unison and drawing attention to ourselves was great.
Let's go back to that there, Joe. You know, that was something that I thought was kind of cool that we did, because how many times do you see the dad that's there that may or may not fit in with our group, and he may or may not be too cool for the room, so to speak, and he's there with mom and the kids, and he's hanging out, and little girls are singing and let it go, and they're having a ball, and dad just like, you know, he's usually the guy that gets picked on in Monsters Laugh for, you know, I don't want to be here, you know, but now you see, you know, 18, 20, 25 goofy dads all in the same shirt, singing along to every song. I mean, we were singing "Mama Don't Shoot Little Buford" and Country Bears, you know. And the people in front of us looked at like they know the words to the song.
They've been on this ride too many times.
and then the whole crowd started singing along, even though they didn't know the words. They were trying to sing along, and you see people come along, and then you look at those little kids, and you look at those kids that Dad may or may not have realized this is a special moment, and we help make that click. We can share our joy with other people that way, and I saw that so many times, and I even saw it a little bit amongst our own group, how guys that might have been too shy or been whatever about some things kind of loosened up as we moved along, and it was like, you know what, if everybody else is going to make a fool out of themselves, I am too. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, you're part of a crowd when you're singing with everybody else. You don't stand out as much, and then it doesn't hurt, right? And the same thing for people who've probably done the same thing we have and gone a dozen times and sit in those same shows because the kids want to go, and they're just tired of the songs. But when you get a unison group like that going and singing those songs, it changes the experience from the past where it's just you singing or maybe a couple singing. It's a different experience.
Yep.
So
yeah, people
I think
are
we brought
looking
a lot
for the
to the
excuse to have a good time, right? The other dads that are there that aren't part of the club are looking for that excuse to, they really are, to let loose and not feel embarrassed. And so when you see, you know, a large group of dads,
Without children,
I'm not sure how many there were, like 9 or a dozen in Frozen, of you guys that were singing along, like that was awesome.
and that's another thing we got to be careful about is we can single-handedly change the aspect of vacationing at Disney without even knowing it. People ask many, many times, you know, who are you guys? Where are you from? And of course, we all said from all over in unison. It's like we've been doing this all day long. We have. But when we start explaining, we're just a bunch of dads who love Disney, who come down and vacation together solo. And people's, you know, the gears start turning. It's like there's no kids and no wives, no mothers. Nobody's with y'all. And the guys are starting to think, I didn't know that was an option.
It's a trap.
Right? So our solo trips are going to start to spread to some other families, even though they're not part of the dads. I think the more we do that, the more it's going to change the way some people vacation.
You know, going back to what you just said there, Joe, about changing other people's vacations. The night of when we were in Magic Kingdom, and the fireworks had gone off and everybody's leaving, Pappy was standing there with Mr. Penguin, waving to everybody goodbye. He's looking for the grumpiest people, you could tell. The people pushing the strollers and are like, oh, I just want to get the hell out of here, right? And he's looking at him and he's waving Mr. Penguin, and they glance over and they glare back at him. And then he keeps staring at him with his crazy eyes until they look back, and then they start laughing. And you know that humor is carrying him to the front gates through that big crowd. You know, like he changed that evening from the exit death march to something fun and memorable. You know.
Right.
And changed the whole spin of the evening for countless people on the way out. You know,
yep.
That's the kind of effect, and we don't know the full effect that the convention had on other people, and that's what's so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for being able to bring out things to other people and to share those smiles. And what happened is it became very infectious, not only among us, but among the guests and among the cast members, to the point that people were looking for us and finding us and seeing us and excited to see us. The fact that the cast members are stalking our Instagram pages and Twitter pages and pinging me and wanting me to know, hey, when are you going to upload those photos and stuff? That's very funny that it's getting to that, and we need to carry and ride that. Yeah, the dude with the penguin tattoo, you know, who knows what all happen and where we can go from here. What Joe? What's a highlight?
Well, I mean, a highlight for the whole group in general, I think, is one being present in the park as a unit group, right? So having shirts that all match so that everybody knew we were part of the same group, having the flags so that, people are like, what's the flag for? And then they start asking questions and seeing there's an actual identity to this group of fools that keep chanting through the park. By the way, tiki-taki, tiki-taki.
Oi.
See there? Things like that. I mean, just
you brought up the whole shirt thing, and I come up with an idea for a shirt for next year. You see the dads that do the I don't do matching shirts, and I don't, they have the shirt that says I don't do matching shirts, and they actually have one in the park that you can buy that says I think we should all have one that looks exactly alike with our logo on it. So I didn't plan to do a matching shirt or something today.
Yeah. I selected this shirt hoping I wouldn't match anybody.
I don't know these people.
But again, I mean, identifying our presence in the parks and that in itself, I think, attributed to part of what happened with the guest experience team, right? Knowing that there's this group of guys wearing these blue shirts traveling throughout the park. Now, had it been Animal Kingdom Day and we were in tan shirts, or maybe Hollywood Studios in green shirts, or whatever it may be, just getting an identity, being able to be identified, and then making the differences that we did.
Putting you on hot pink next year.
I'll wear hot pink. I'm good at my manhood. But yeah, just things like that. I mean, having a face and something for people to follow.
All right, good deal. Terry, you got something else you want to reflect on?
Yeah, what you got?
Well, I think the number one highlight for everybody this trip was, of course, volunteering at Give Kids the World. For those of us that were able to extend our trip to do it, it's tough to describe to anybody who hasn't been there. I've showed my kids the YouTube videos for Give Kids the World, and that's teared them up. And they're all looking forward to doing it. But I don't think anybody's looking forward to doing Give Kids the World as much as the guys who've volunteered there on Monday.
No.
I can see that becoming the focal point of future conventions. And I know not everybody's going to be able to do it. Not everybody will want to volunteer there, and that's perfectly fine. It's, again, as we stressed from day one, it's your vacation. It's your money that's being spent, and you do it how you want.
On the Give Kids the World, Terry, I want you to hold on to that. Don't go too deep. We'll come back. Go say what you got to say, but don't go too deep, because I want to come back to that towards the end here, and use that as a springboard for something.
Okay. All right. So non-Give Kids the World highlights. There's the house bonding was a lot of fun, going to the parks. But you guys know that Joe, Adam, and I did a fair bit of work setting up the foundation of this trip, right? The DDC 7 had its roots in going back in every other convention, right? From DDC 1 on through all of them. It's built up, it's added on to each other. We worked hard on this one to make it a bit different, because we knew we were going to have a lot of guys in the house. So we built a good foundation. We got thrown a lot of audibles, and not just Carl's audibles. We had plans for doing the fundraising live in the parks, and doing live broadcasting from the house. Well, Wi-Fi in the parks was the worst it's been since they put Wi-Fi into the parks.
And then the house Wi-Fi crashed.
Didn't pan out. But those were all changes that were okay because, what made the trip great, what made the trip fantastic was the unexpected things that other guys did. From Michael Perry grabbing Mr. Penguin on the way out the door, bringing him to the park, from Pappy and his crazy eyes, just all these fantastic things that happened. DBC, like, seriously, man, he's a blast. If you haven't had a chance to meet David, and I know everybody watching right now has, but maybe somebody watching later, meet up with him if ever you can. He's tons of fun.
You need to meet Scuttle when you get a chance.
Yeah, Scuttle when you get a chance. But it's like I say, we made the foundations of a good trip, but it's all the guys that made it a great trip. They did the unexpected stuff. Singing along in Frozen, really bonded solid group of guys there. It just proved everybody's there to just have fun. And and we've said it before, but Saturday in Magic Kingdom, I've lost count of the number of times I've been to Magic Kingdom. That was my best day I've ever had at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I've got incredibly cherished memories with my daughters and stuff. That was the funnest. Just everything seemed to click after that hour-long Uber ride that we had. Everything from there on just clicked, and the cast members, wow.
Well, at that point, it couldn't go anywhere but up.
Yeah. So whoever it was, I think you said Agent P was the one who grabbed Mr. Penguin on the way out the door.
Yeah.
The first photo, I think, of the day that really keyed off of what was about to happen was whoever it was that asked the monorail driver if we could put Mr. Penguin in the driver's seat. I think that was one of the first Mr. Penguin photos that happened throughout the course of Saturday. So whoever started that set a trend and changed the course of Saturday for the most part. I mean, Perry bringing him started that, but whoever put him in the driver's seat and then getting in the door in the parks under the gates and putting him in the fire truck and moving from the fire truck as we went through the park and putting him in the front of all the rides. You guys raised the bar so high on how much fun we can have and how much we can get away with.
Well,
right? So
and that's really what changed the day was it, like you say, it set the whole mood for everybody. It's like, we had a long time getting here, and it could have gone south from there. Instead, it went in the opposite direction. The fun went into orbit because it just showed what can be done if you just ask. You just looking for some fun with the cast members, and they're looking for an excuse to think outside the box. And they really helped us take it to another level too. But honestly, the credit goes to all the guys that were there.
Yeah. And again, Mr. Penguin being a I don't know, for lack of better words, an isolated member of the group who was a great participant in all these shenanigans without the cast members and the park attendants having to account for all of these dads, right? We're not asking for 72 of us to sit up front of the monorail. We chose Mr. Penguin himself, and that became a catalyst for, we'll let you do that all day long, right? And then getting to know the guest experience team and those guys calling us out and saying, you know what, there's guys in the park that are having a great time. Let's help them. So that them, sharing across the radio that there's DisDads in the park. And if anybody in the experience team sees them, recognize them, and help make their day better. So Ray Vaughn, I don't know when the guys met him earlier that morning before, I know Carl and I got there anyway. Don't know when they met him, but the fact that Ray Vaughn,
we walked past their station. We didn't really notice them so much. What the get team was. We just walked up to Splash Mountain. We were holding up the penguin to get a picture of him up at Splash Mountain, and and Ray Vaughn came sprinting over. He's like, I gotta ask, what's the deal with the penguin? And the day went from there.
Nice. So again, Ray Vaughn, shout out to him. The guy went above and beyond and made sure we had our own dedicated boat, our own dedicated skipper. And then when they when they brought out the uniform for Mr. Penguin, I don't think it could have gone any better. That was an amazing experience that I'd never seen Disney give anybody, especially to an inanimate object, if you will.
Well, and that's just it. Terry kind of summed it up earlier. We were able to take this inanimate object, make it a focal point, and do something that Disney doesn't really allow to happen, and that's have something that was not Disney become a focus in a Disney park. Now, the fact that they let us get by with it was great. The fact that they encouraged us was even better.
Right.
And
but again, in the relationship of that, if you think about it, one object, a penguin, in their eyes, made 22 dads happy. Because we were cheering on whatever they were doing with Mr. Penguin. We thought it was cool. They took one object and made 22 people happy in an instance with little to no effort. So that's what I think is very, very magical and amazing on their part.
Yeah. Oh, I know what they're looking for. Just like the rest of us, right? They're looking for an excuse to have fun. And, you know, when you see a group of 20 plus guys in matching shirts carrying a stuffed penguin,
they're either
doing
crazy
fun
or they're ready to have
happy
fun.
Birthday to people, your brain gears just sort of start to grind. They don't know what to make of it, right? And it allows us to do a few things and that are unexpected, and it gives the cast members that excuse too to go and do the unexpected. It's like, yeah, no, we don't allow people to ride up in the monorail anymore, and you can't take a picture of yourself up in the monorail, but we can get a picture of your penguin, right? We can get a picture of the penguin in the train. We can get a picture of the penguin here and there. They're almost got the penguin in the castle or on the parade, but they were trying to think of a way of doing that, and I think it was a pretty solid no, but they did try.
Right.
So, we're going to try not to drag this on because I could sit here and talk all night about all this. But we're going to try to kind of condense this down. We're going to try to keep these shows to about an hour as we do them. I know, Terry. But that
one
keeps
bladder full.
That keeps family time at a premium, and that keeps relationship time, and it also helps. You know, if you guys want to download this offline or whatever, watch it, you'll be able to do that without too much rambling. So we had a lot of fun with Mr. Penguin and the Adventures of Mr. Penguin. We had a lot of fun in our Magic Kingdom Day, and if you start thinking about it, think about the highlights over the last 7 years. We've kind of culminated at this point. And I kind of put it out there earlier, January the 12th, 2019, the DisDads Club evolved along with the DDC. But the reality is that we evolved and we grew up, but then on Monday, we found a new purpose. We always knew it was there, and we've done that. And I kind of was going to push this off for a little bit, but there's some guys out there, there's some chatter coming through, and we're trying to chomping at the bit to get here, so we're going to go ahead and just get here. We've had this group now for years. We started out on the Diz. We started out, we moved to Facebook. We've had different spats and spottles and different spinoffs and different things that we've done. We've done some attempts to try to focus what we do. And we've got these comical van laws that we've written, and we've got all this stuff that we've done and we talk about. Everything from, cheese balls and bacon and beer to, eating pizza with a fork and rum and all this other stuff. But the reality is Monday really, for a core group of the guys that really want to push this thing forward, when we were all there, we did our work, we did our thing, and I am so glad Carl put that photo up today and left it there, because that really just kind of goes right where I wanted to go tonight, is that there were 10 or 12 of us left over after we got done, and we're in there, we're looking for the Beloins Juliana's star, and we're sitting here, and some of us are crying, and we're all seeing things. And, it really just kind of hit me. This is what we are. This is the culmination of the heart of all you guys. And I really, really, really want us to move forward in that direction, because I think that as a social organization and somewhat of a service-minded group of guys, that we can do so much more than what we did. We can do a lot of things for this group, and we are scattered here, there, and everywhere. But this is a small world that we live in, and we actually have a huge voice, and we have begun to have a voice. And if we take that voice and we use it for something, a good common cause, now we're going to always come together, and we're always going to help each other. We're always going to be here for the brotherhood. But at the same time, we can do something positive that not only will impact a family or families' lives, but that day reminded me of the days when I did a lot of other things, that kind of giving and that kind of doing impacted me in a way that I had not felt in a long time. And so my challenge here is, guys, as we move forward with our planning for DDCC 8, that you work with us and hold on tight to it, because what we want to do is take the focus of this and kind of flip it up on its head from being about us to being about somebody else and what we can do, and the true idea of having a mission statement for this club. And if we can make that mission statement and we can make that idea golden, then I think we can take this whole club and this whole level to another idea. And y'all are just talking about drinks and everything else. So I'm just rambling on. So y'all either don't hear me. Here. I'm trying to be deep, and we're talking about lapu over here. I'm like just reading this stuff scroll by. So
no, I think there's a cliche story here that really fits in with what we've done. When you talk about, there's that old saying that if you do something you love, you never have to work a day in your life. So from my perspective, I was just a tiny bit apprehensive about what work we were going to be doing at Give Kids the World. When we talked about working in the kitchen, and when I volunteered to bus tables and, pick up other people's food, there's a level of, I don't know if it's I don't know what to call it, but there's just that whole moment of, what did I just get myself into? But then when you're picking up other people's stuff and you're watching them get ready to go to the parks, because again, most of these families probably had their first day set of tickets ready. They were headed to their first park for the week. Magic Kingdom, Universal, who knows? But that's where they were headed that morning. It's Monday morning, the first day of the week. We're in there trying to seal breakfast as quickly and as smoothly and as comfortably as possible so that they can get to that first park and start those magical moment memories. Thinking back on that moment when I was apprehensive about what I was volunteering for, and then after 2 or 3 hours into the shift, thinking, I'm not really working hard at all. Yeah, I was sweating a little bit. I was walking back and forth and mopping and swiping. But around the overall aspect of what I was contributing to the day, that apprehension was gone. I mean, it was just total magic. Watching Carl and the guys carry trays for these kids and these families, and just trying to make momentary friendships, 100 feet friendships, was so cool. and then to hand off the trays and we take off and they just keep rotating back in and out of the dining room was so much fun. I can't say much for Adam and Darcy and whoever was in the washroom, but still knowing that we gave back.
We had a good time. AJ was blessed.
Didn't have to really work hard at all that morning. It was that easy to contribute back to a cause and make people's day. So you can't call it work because we weren't working for Give Kids the World. We were just doing something else that was fun.
Yeah. The reward from it was better than any reward you get at real work.
Absolutely.
So, in the last few minutes of this rambling, boy, we have run through 45 minutes already, Terry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, in the last few minutes here, as we wrap up and we put this bow on DDC 7, if any of you guys want to break out a memory right quick, we'll touch base on that, and we're going to try to run a teaser for what we're thinking for. No, but AJ hosed me down, Darcy. And we're going to do several things as we look at this, but if you guys will work with us on this and are cool with it, we're going to, and I understand that everybody can't do this, and Terry understands that, and Joe understands this, not everybody's going to be able to do this because everybody's got limited time. But
limited time, and I wanted to say earlier, I was really nervous, apprehensive about what's it going to be like, volunteering, and concerned that, I might tear up or break down or something. My only fear, the reality of volunteering there, the times I came closest to tearing up was from laughter. It is such a fun time, such a positive place. Everybody's got a great attitude. If you're concerned about volunteering there and worried about keeping your emotions in check, we did not have that experience. I had those concerns too, but the experience was very positive. That's not to say that there might be days where it might be a little tougher there, but overall, absolutely amazing place.
Yeah, I was going to throw in top of that. You can tell the place really works. Not to deter from any of those kids' situation, but it didn't look like anybody was really sick. The magic of Give Kids the World truly does work because those kids came in, they had their food, they were ready to eat breakfast. Maybe they knew they were going to a park as soon as breakfast was done, but nobody really looked down and sick after breakfast that morning. The village is doing its part and it's working. And that's what I think is amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of magic and a lot of laughs and smiles there that's covering up a lot of sorrow and pain.
Yeah.
And having talked with some folks that have gone through that place and have been there and what it means to them, to talk to them now that I've been home. Once I got home and said what I said about being there and whatever, I had even more people that I know that had no idea they'd gone through what they'd gone through have opened up, and we've talked about their time and their experience there. And they're like, wow, that's so cool that you guys did that on your vacation or whatever. And so that's kind of where we are now, is if you guys allow us and you guys work with us on it, for DDC 8, we want to take a day, and that day, the focus of that day, right in the core of the convention, will be for Give Kids the World. Now, we've still got some planning to do around it. We've still got some things we've got to work out and some logistics to work out with Steve and some other things. But if we can make this happen, we're going to put that day, as one of our primary days right in the middle, and not try to stick it on the front end and shove it in or shoehorn it on the backside. But we're going to try to put that right in the middle and make it the focus. Now, I know that kind of conflicts with some of the guys that like to run and some of the guys that like to do some of the other stuff that's going on. But if we can make it happen, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, if you guys are part of the group that actually comes in on like a Wednesday, Thursday and have to leave by Sunday and you missed out on this opportunity, we want to offer the option and try and, like Adam said, bring it right up in part of the activities so that while you're there during that weekend event, give Kids the World as an opportunity. If you want to experience what we experienced, we'll put it right in the middle, like he said, and then everybody can feel what we felt. And then you too can participate and join us for Give Kids the World Volunteer Day.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the plan, and that's going to be the plan for next year, is to put it right in the middle. We're going to work it out, and we're going to fix it so that it becomes the focus. In the times past, we've had run challenges, and we've had shenanigans, and we've had beer garden, and we've had all the kind of stuff that we could do to put it as the focus. But this coming year, we're going to try to put service first for DDCA. And I already see some guys out there saying, let's do 2 shifts, or let's do this, or let's do that. We'll see. We're going to have to see what our contact with Give Kids the World thinks is best for us to do. We're not going to go, well, this is the day we want to give. We're going to see what is a good time for us to be there. Yeah. And then we're going to fit that into the schedule of the convention, and we're going to focus everything else around that, even Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. So again, guys, we don't want to take away from what the DDCC has been. I mean, there's still probably going to be drinking. There's still going to be crawls and great times and shenanigans and events. But we do want to work on the little focus of what is our purpose when we're there. If you enjoyed singing happy birthday to a little boy or a little girl while standing in line, we're going to continue to do that. We're giving back to the park that gives us so much. We're giving back to Give Kids the World. We take so much for granted in our daily lives. These people may be seeing the end of theirs. Perpetually giving back is what we're trying to drive towards.
And I see a lot of guys here poking up about, a couple of shifts, a couple of days. We're going to work on it. We're going to work with what's there. Yeah. But the biggest thing is we want to focus on is we want to be careful not to split the group up too much and splinter us out, because there is a lot of power in us being there as a group and experience this together and showing our face moving forward when we go to do things like this and we try to do the fundraising. And that's after Terry says whatever he's going to say. We'll get to that fundraising issue here in a second.
Yeah, just with the planning and that, we want to hear everybody's input. And that, keep in mind that, if people can't volunteer on the day and time we pick, they can volunteer on their own. Anytime. Just give them a call, look them up on the internet, and you can volunteer. Just remember that when it comes to planning, this isn't planning for 1 or 2 people. It's not planning for your family. This is planning for numbers between 20 and 50 people, that some are solo, some are with families, some are locals, some have limited time, some have a lot of time. So the planning stage of it can be quite complicated, and that's going to dictate, along with Give Kids the World, what they suggest for us to do next year is going to dictate the days and times. And people are welcome to go and volunteer their whole time there. But
we're going to try to make a nice balance.
Or anything where these trips cost a lot of money. And so if we're able to take half a day out of our vacation to volunteer, that's fantastic. And it will be the focus of the trip now. But
we want to be careful.
It's not going to be the only focus.
Right. We're going to try to be very careful to be balanced and be coordinated, so that, like Terry said, we do spend a lot of money on this trip. We do spend a lot of time and effort into it. You guys will probably never fully understand the amount of hours that Terry and Joe and I spent last year. We had a good time doing it. Don't get me wrong. We enjoyed every minute. We really enjoyed it.
Excuse to chat. We love it.
but there were bukus of hours tied up in logistics of this, trying to pull this off and figure things out, and lots of balancing and lots of people that got mad at us over some of the things and decisions we made. I think some of you that came this year that kept wanting us to do and add a few extra things here and there, I think you saw what we were talking about is that there ain't enough time, boys. And, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of guys in the house that didn't sleep for 4 days. I don't know how they did it, but we're going to try our best to be very balanced and very fair as we lay things out and plan it. And we're going to try to do a few things so that we can do some other. It was more like 45 minutes of logistics and 3 hours of chatting afterwards. Into the wee hours of the night. And then some of our best ideas came after midnight.
Yeah, that's true.
And so there's lots of things that we can do and want to do, and we're just going to try to balance that out and make it work the best we can. We're doing some house research to see what we can do. We're going to try to get those options out. I know Terry is closing in on a week or two window for the 11th month window for DDC.
Seriously, guys, like we were talking back in November or December, it dawned on us as we're planning the next rum ramblings. It's like, well, what are we doing post trip? And it's like, well, we got to start the rum ramblings again right away because the 11th month window opens very soon. I mean, the official DDC 8 dates are the 8th to the 12th. So if you're coming in earlier, you're within 2 weeks of booking your DVC for the DVC guys. And if you're booking a hotel room, that booking's already open.
Yeah. So
I'm just staying at the house.
Yeah, we got some things we're going to try to do for the house and whatever. We've still got some research to do on that. Lessons learned, things that we will look forward to, and we'll be sharing that as we get that planned out. But you guys, if you want to book a room or you want to do some things and you still want to be able to back out and come back and hang out at the house or do whatever, that's fine too. Book what you got to do, and when we get the details up, we'll be glad to work it out. Go ahead and be letting one of the three of us know if you're interested in being part of the house next year. That way we can kind of get an idea on numbers. We're going to get some polls up before long. But the other thing that I want us to do is we've officially closed out our DDCC 7 Give Kids the World campaign. Had Steve reset that. I'm going to make sure everything's reset and ready to go. And we're going to go ahead and put some images and videos up on the website and the page. The website's down right now because my server rebooted and I can't get it back up. But we're going to get some stuff back up and running. And we're going to get that going sooner rather than later and see if we can turn that up. Because I'm just going to be honest with you guys. With this group of guys, we're boasting somewhere in the neighborhood between 500 and 1,000 members across all of our links and sites and whatever, with about 60 to 100 fairly active guys. Maybe we can raise $1,000 a month for the next 12 months. I mean, we thought we were only going to come up with about $2,000 when we started kicking this thing around. And in the last month, we kicked up $4,000 that we didn't know we could find. So we need to figure out some stuff, and we'll figure out how we can do some things. Go ahead and keep stuff circulating around. Let's keep the chatter going. I'm not going to shut down the GroupMe pages. I'm going to leave that going because it seems the guys seem to like that. It's fun to just be able to ping and harass folks. I know Carl gets annoyed when we blow his phone up, but he knows how to put it on mute now, I think. He's a big boy. He can figure it out. He won't get lost in the land of the lost. That was supposed to make Terry smile.
And apparently he does know how to fish.
Apparently so, and he didn't get eaten by gators.
I'm honestly surprised, considering he left beer that Fed would have enjoyed.
And so there's a lot we can do, but we're going to figure it out and put it together. And who knows, maybe DDCC 8 will be the best one yet. And
each one is.
We just keep getting better, guys. And if you guys have ideas, feel free to shoot them our way and let us know. Please don't get offended if we don't always incorporate your idea or don't always acknowledge something. That is not our intention. We are juggling lots and lots of things and trying to come up with the best we can. Chris, all the matching shirts. Yes, I will figure that out.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking votes on colors. I'm going to throw a dartboard. I'm going to throw something at the dartboard and I'm going to pick them out. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the vendor and I'm going to say, "What you got?" Because I could have saved $3.50 a shirt if I'd have just picked what she had.
And
yeah.
And guys, we have listened. Like we've heard some of the comments of more shirts. You know. Shirts for different days, because that worked out so well at Magic Kingdom. We've heard the idea of business cards or something to hand out so that people can find us easily, or you know, that sort of thing. More ideas like that. If you guys come up with something, put it in. You know, We've had a couple comments on how the house was. You know, everybody seemed to enjoy it. We had a ton of booze and pop and food left over. So suggestions on next year of what to do. You know, all that stuff is things we really want to hear from you, so we can make it better for next year, because, you know, it's those suggestions that we need to hear. I know first of all that the best, surest way of plussing next year, we saw how great this year was with 2 Canadians. If we can get Tom in for the 3rd Canadian like he was supposed to be, you know, it's going to be an oot.
Yeah, with the events going on this year, I don't see it happening, but I'm thinking the only way up from here is get some European contingency.
Oh, there we go. Get some other country back in.
But yeah, guys, the overall aspect of the house, I think, worked out really, really well for what we took a chance on. Somehow we need to get a list of, or committed list, and we'll put the poll up and get a committed list of who's coming, so we can decide, do we need to go bigger? How much bigger? How many beds do we need to account for? How many guys are watching this year that wishes they were there, who are now making plans to be there next year? So share your stories, invite your friends. We do want to make DDCC a huge, huge event. It'd be great. It's not going to happen, but it'd be great if we could get to the point where we walk to Give Kids the World Gate and they almost turn us away because there's so much volunteer going on. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna put a pin in it tonight, and our next Rum Ramblings will be the kickoff show for planning for DDCC 8. So this is the bow tie. The package is wrapped. DDCC 7 is in the bag.
We hope you guys had a great time.
Rum Ramblings has been brought to you by members of the DisDads Club. Due to the consumption of 99 barrels of rum, we do this for viewers like you. We hope you've enjoyed this production and will join us again. See you real soon.